Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our English Learning Podcast. Today, we're diving into a question that many learners and even teachers have pondered over. Why can't people learn English properly? English is often seen as the global language, yet so many struggle to master it, even after years of study. In this episode, we'll explore the common barriers to effective learning and share practical solutions to overcome them. If you've ever felt stuck in your language journey, this one's for you. Lack of proper motivation. Let's start with motivation. Why do you want to learn English? This is the question every learner needs to ask themselves. For many, the answer revolves around external reasons. I need it for work. I want to pass an exam. My parents expect me to learn it. These are valid reasons, but they're not always enough to sustain you in the long term. True motivation needs to come from within. For example, do you want to connect with people from different cultures? Travel more comfortably? Watch your favorite shows without subtitles? These personal goals are what keep you going when the journey gets tough. A lack of intrinsic motivation often leads to burnout. People start with high energy but give up as soon as they hit a plateau. So, take a moment to reflect. Why am I learning English? Make it personal and meaningful. Fear of making mistakes. One of the biggest hurdles in language learning is fear of being judged, fear of sounding silly, or fear of making mistakes. This fear can paralyze you, especially when it comes to speaking. But here's the truth. Mistakes are your best teachers. Think about how children learn their native language. They make countless mistakes, yet they don't stop trying. It's the same for adults. Every time you mispronounce a word or use the wrong grammar, you're one step closer to getting it right. Instead of avoiding mistakes, embrace them. Practice with people who are supportive, like friends, language partners, or even yourself. Yes, talk to yourself in English. It's a great way to build confidence in a judgment-free zone. Poor learning strategies. Now let's talk about strategies. Many people struggle with English because they don't know how to study effectively. Some common mistakes include 1. Focusing only on grammar rules without practicing speaking. 2. Memorizing vocabulary lists without learning how to use the words in context. 3. Neglecting listening and pronunciation skills. Think of language learning as building a house. Grammar is the foundation, but it's not the whole structure. Vocabulary is the walls, and speaking, listening, and writing are the doors and windows. Without these, your language house remains incomplete. Here's a simple tip. Integrate all skills into your learning routine. For example, if you're studying a new grammar point, try to write sentences using it, listen to a podcast where it's used, and practice speaking it out loud. The more you engage with the language in different ways, the faster you'll improve. Lack of consistency. Consistency is another critical factor. Many learners fall into the trap of studying intensely for a short period and then taking long breaks. Language learning doesn't work that way. It's all about regular, sustained effort. Think of it like going to the gym. If you work out for 5 hours one day and then skip the rest of the week, you won't see much progress. But if you exercise for just 30 minutes every day, the results will come. The same applies to English. Even 15-20 minutes of focused practice daily can lead to significant improvement over time. To stay consistent, create a routine that works for you. Maybe you practice speaking in the morning, listen to a podcast during your commute, and read a book before bed. Find what fits your lifestyle and stick to it. Unrealistic expectations. Another reason people struggle is that they expect to become fluent overnight. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. It's okay to set ambitious goals, but they need to be realistic. Break your goals into smaller, achievable steps. For example, this month, I'll focus on mastering 50 new words. This week, I'll practice speaking for 10 minutes every day. Today, I'll watch one episode of a TV show in English. Small victories add up over time and keep you motivated. Tips for learning English properly. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with some actionable tips. Find your motivation. Make it personal and meaningful. Don't fear mistakes. They're your best learning tool. Use a variety of methods. Mix reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Stay consistent. Even 20 minutes a day makes a difference. Immerse yourself. Surround yourself with English in creative ways. Thanks for tuning into today's episode. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who's also learning English. See you in the next episode, and until then, keep learning and keep growing.